This video is part 4 of the caster assembly. So at this point, we've created the assembly, and now we are going to create the presentation file and then begin to put them on drawing files. But before we do that, there's actually one extra thing we have to do to the assembly that I forgot to do in the last video, so we'll do that first. If I go back to the dimension sheet, we see this little retaining ring right here. And the retaining ring is going to rest on that little notch on the shaft right here. So the shaft has an inside diameter of 6.4 and an outside of 7.5. So we need a ring that's between that so it can kind of rest in there to keep this from sliding out. So I have my assembly file open and we're going to add that retaining ring before we move forward. So because it's a retaining ring, that's not something that you have to create yourself. It's something that you could preload from Inventor's library. So I'm going to go place from Content Center. And where is it? I think it's shaft parts, circlips. It's an external. Oh god. I don't really care which one it is, as long as it's the right size and metric. So, I don't know, this one. Then I'm going to click. And the diameter, I'll do 7, because it'd be between the 6.4 and the 7.5. And I like to do as custom, so we can save it in our job file. And you can just hit save if it's saved in the right folder. And I'm going to place it. And then I'm going to constrain it. And I'm going to do insert constraint again. And I'm just going to choose like that inside diameter, the 6.4 diameter I chose. And then I guess this. It kind of looks like Mickey Mouse. Not really. Never mind. And hit OK. And let's see if that looks kind of good. Looks good enough to me. Okay, so we can save that, and that was it for that. So now we're going to begin the presentation file. And again, the presentation file is what we call an exploded view, where you take your finished assembly and then you pull the parts apart to show how it all comes together and interacts. So I'm going to go to New, Presentation, Standard Millimeter IPN for Inventor Presentation, and then you have to load your caster assembly. Sometimes it pulls or opens the right folder because it's the most previously used one. If not, you just have to go there. Brookdale Community College, caster assembly, here it is. And now we're going to tweak components. Tweak components is where you select individual parts and then pull them in a direction. So I'm going to hit tweak components. And I'm going to do these two, and I'm going to pull those two up. Hit OK, and then I'm going to tweak just this one and pull it up. So now I'm going to work on these 3 parts over here. So I'm going to do tweak components. And how should I do it? There are more than one right way of doing it. I'm just going to try and do the way I think it makes the most sense. So I'm going to pull those two in this direction, and then just this in that direction, and then I'm going to do this one in this direction. So I think that kind of helps tell the story of how it all comes together. The bushing goes in here, and then the shaft goes in, and then that goes on the other end. So I think this looks pretty good. So once you have it good, I think you have to hit new snapshot view, and you're done with that. You can now hit Control S and save the presentation file. And now we're ready for the drawing file. So I'm going to do the drawing file. We like to make the cover sheet, which is the one with the exploded view, a size C. So I'm going to, actually, we don't delete that, but we do change the sheet size to size C, keep the title block, and then we put our base view, And our base view is view 1, which was that snapshot that we did. And I think I can make it a 1-to-1. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like it shaded, nice and colorful. And what's next? So we need to add parts list. Click this to get the parts list of it. Ignore the error message. I don't know why it shows up. Right in the top right corner, I like it. I like to then hit escape, click it, right click, edit parts list, and go to column chooser to add material. And then move it over so it's one row per. Maybe tighten that up a little bit. And good. Now I'm going to add the balloons, and I have 6 parts. So just make sure you get all 6. And now we are done with this file. So File, Save As, Caster Assembly. And then I'm also going to export this into a PDF. Export PDF. And we're going to call this Caster Assembly 1. And you'll see why I named it 1 in a second. Because I'll wait a second for that to finish. Okay, so now I have the PDF done. And this submission is going to be different than the ones we've done the past few weeks, because this one, I want an entire site plan set. Last week, that would have been your finished product. However, this week, I want you to create dimension sheets for all of these, not the retaining ring. So you're going to have 5 dimension sheets. So you're going to go ahead and create new drawing files. And this is like we've been doing like the first 9 weeks of the semester, where we get rid of the large title block, we edit the sheet size to be size A, then we get a base view, but not this. I want individual parts. So I'm going to go to open an existing file, Brookdale Community College. So you're going to do all 5 parts that you created. And I don't want I want hidden line on. This is back what we did. And then we want like a good projected view. I forgot to re-add the title block. Let me do that now before I forget. Really, I probably should have had these switched. So I'm going to delete that. It went too quickly and now I don't like it. Okay, and then your job is going to be to annotate these fully. So what I would want you to do is add dimensions where they belong and fully dimension it. However, here's the kicker. I'm not going to show you how to do all of them. You are going to be responsible for dimensioning the 5 sheets on your own. Why? Well, you should be able to do it on your own, but really it's also major practice for the final. The final is going to be a lot of this. Is going to be a overall assembly and then a bunch of individual drawing files. And you're going to have to dimension that on your own, so it's good practice. You can do one part per drawing file if you want. If you have enough room and you want to do 2, that's fine too. Doesn't matter. If you do 1 or more, or like 2 or more, I would just put text and then just kind of label the part right next to it, just to kind of have it be properly labeled. So once you're finished with that, clearly I'm not, but I'm just going to show you. I'm going to do export PDF, and I'm going to name this one Caster 2. And then Caster 3, Caster 4, Caster 5, Caster 6, as many as you have. When you are finished with all of them, you will submit all your PDFs. However, I do want to show you quickly how to combine PDFs into one, which will make my life easier, which should make you want to do that. So if I had, clearly I only have 2, you'll probably have more than 2. If you just kind of Google PDF combine, you'll get a bunch of hits. So combine PDF. And you got to be a little bit careful with this. If you do it right, it's no problem. If you do something like this where you're downloading extensions, you're getting a little risky. So I want to do combine PDF. I'm going to go to upload files. And I'm going to choose my files. So where am I? Desktop, BCC, Caster Assembly. Click, Control, click the other one. Okay. It's going to combine them. And then I'm going to hit combine when I have all of mine loaded. Make sure the order is correct. And then down here, it says combine PDF doc. This is the file that's being downloaded. And then if you open it up, show in folder, this is your downloads folder. This right here is the one you're going to want to upload to Canvas. You can right click it to copy it and move it to your desktop or move it to a more permanent location. It's located in the downloads folder. And then when you double click it, you'll find that this will be 2 sheets. First one, if you look in the bottom left, 22 by 17. The next one is 8.5 by 11. It does do it all properly. And you'll be uploading 1 PDF onto Canvas. Okay. Best of luck. And that's it for the caster.